right, cool.
Got it.
All right, so this is going to be our math problem. And remember, we always want to make sure we put brains do make zebras smarter. That way we have an idea of where we are in our problem and we don't get confused or lost where we are. Okay, so our first thing, find a bigger number or a number that's the same. So when we find our bigger number, we're going to underline 9 because 9 is the same. Okay, good. So our next step is division. Now over here, this is going to be where we put our division answers, and it is also our multiplier. So 9 goes into 9? One time. Perfect. Okay, so we put our 1 over here. Now, like we said, now 1 becomes our multiplier. 1 times 9? 9. Actually, yes, is 9. So we have 1 times 9 is 9. We put it underneath our underlined 9. We underline our 9 because that becomes the number that we're dividing into and also the number that we're subtracting from. So it's where we put our multiplying answer. Next, our 0. Okay, so we're going to put our 0 in there. We need 2. 1, 2, but 2 places. 1, 2. Okay, our next step, subtract. We subtract 972 minus 900, and we get 72. Now, all the way back up to the top, find the bigger number, right? Our bigger number in this case, 7 is not bigger than 9, so we need to underline both the 7 and the 2, so it's 72. Now, we divide 9 into 72.
8.
Okay, 8. We will use 8. So we're going to put 8 over here. Now we're going to multiply 9 times 8.
56. Wait, 9 times 8 is
72. Okay, there's no zeros to add, so we can check that off. Now we do our subtraction. 0. Now we're done. We've got to do our subtracting. Now, we got a 0 down here, or we have a number that's not as big as our divisor. So we don't have a bigger number. Now all we have to do is add our answers. Add our answers together.
108.
We get 108. Don't pull out. Thank you. Okay, now, we're going to do that problem one more time. Brains do make zebras smarter. Okay, now we're going to run this one more time because I want you to see what happens when we don't actually use an 8 here. It's okay. So bigger number, 9. It's an easy part, right?
Yeah.
Divide. 9 goes into 9 one time, then we multiply. 1 times 9 equals 9. Okay, add our zeros. 1, 2, 1, 2. 2 places. Subtract. Okay? So, now we do our subtraction. We get 72. Now, for the last class we had a student that said, oh, well, it's 7. It goes in 7 times. It does go in 7 times, just not completely, and that's cool. So we put our 7 here. We do our division. We do our multiplication. 7 times 9, 63. Okay, no zeros to add, we can check that off. We can check off our subtraction. It's all good. Now, when we do our subtraction, we need to borrow from the 7. That becomes our 6. Move it to the 2. It becomes 12. 12 minus 3, 9. Now, we have an answer, so we got to move all the way back up top. So, 9 into 9, right? Because we have to underline our bigger number. Do our division is 1. Do our multiplication. 9 times 1 is 9. No zeros. We can check that off. Now we do our subtraction. 0. Right? So it is okay if we make a mistake, as long as it is a lower mistake, we just got to add up our answers, and we still get 108. 108. So it's okay to mess up. It's not a big deal. Okay? All right, now, let's look at this next problem. Okay, we write our problem up, then we put our saying up. Brains do make zebras smarter. Okay, brains do make zebras smarter. So, our first step, find the bigger number. 4 is not bigger than 5, so we have to combine 4 and 5 for 45. Then we divide 5 into 45. That's why we underline 45. That's the number we're dividing into. Also the number we're going to subtract from. Okay, so 5 goes into 45.
9 times.
Okay, 9 times. So, now we do our multiplication. 9 times 5
45.
is 45. Okay, add my 0. 1 0 here, 1 0 there. Remember, 2 places. Subtract. Thank you. So, subtraction, we get a 3. Go back up top. Bigger number. Do we have a bigger number?
No.
No. Doesn't matter. So we're done. I can move my 90 up here. I move my 3 up there because that's our remainder. Okay? Again. Let's do this problem and let's not use 90. So brains do make zebras smarter. We'll underline our bigger number, which is 45, correct?
Yes.
Okay? Now, let's say I know 5 times 6. I don't know above that, but 5 times 6 is something I know right away. I can put in the 6 there. Now I'm going to do my multiplication. 6 times 5, 30. Add my 0, 1 0 here, 1 0 there. Remember, 2 places. Okay, now I do my subtraction. 3, 5, 1. Now it's okay to not know your multiplication. It's okay as long as whatever number we're picking to put out here in our division answers and use as our multiplier is going to be lower than what we're dividing into. As long as it's lower, we're fine. Okay, now, back up top. What's our biggest number? 15. Right? So, oh, okay, there's 3 5s in that. So I'm going to divide 3 into that. Now I need to multiply 3 times 5. 15. Remember, this number out here, that's our rock star. It's what gets divided, what gets multiplied. So this number, our divisor, is always our rock star. Now, no zeros, up, 1, put 1 here, 2 places, subtract 3. Now at the end, we just do our multiplication, we do our addition, which gets us 90, 90, remainder 3. So both here and here, we have the same answer. We got it different ways, as long as we're using a divisor that's lower than what we're dividing into. Okay, so as long as we use something that's smaller than the number we're dividing into, we can either get it this way, we can get it this way, again, we can get it this way. It doesn't matter. As long as we're putting our answers out here, we're putting our division answers out there, we're adding our zeros, and at the end, all we want to make sure that we do is we're adding it up. All right.